Episode number 177.
Hello, you're listening to the Career Changemaker podcast. Having the courage to leave a career that you have worked hard to build and try something else can be tough. So in each episode, we dive into key career change strategies so that you have a clear understanding of what is required to transition into a new role or a new industry without feeling like you have to start at the bottom or have to take a massive pay cut, because #ain't nobody got time for that. If you are ready for frank and honest discussions about how to become a career change maker, keep listening. I'm your host, lawyer turned career strategist and executive coach, Janine Esbrand. I am jumping up because I want to talk to you about the fact that there's a 4-letter word that is preventing you from having the impactful career that you want to have. And I want to jump on to talk about this because I have lots of conversations all of the time, and this is a topic that I'm excited to dive into. So here's the thing. I just find it incredible that there are so many lawyers who are not feeling happy and fulfilled in the work that they are doing. So many. So many. I just had a message from someone earlier on. Hey. I am interrupting this episode to let you know that applications are now open for the Career Changemaker program. If you are a lawyer and you know that where you are right now is not working for you and you want to figure out what the next best move is for you and how to strategically position yourself for a new opportunity without having to take a pay cut, without having to start at the bottom, you need to be in this cohort, because the May cohort is really going to be dedicated to supporting lawyers. And the reason why I want to do that is it's 1 year since I left my legal career. It's 1 year since I fully went into what it is that I want to do. And it's been a brilliant journey. And I want to support as many professional women as I can, and particularly lawyers in this May cohort of this program. So if that's you, as you're listening to this, if you know that you want to be making a move and you've been procrastinating around it, you haven't been sure how to move forward, or you've been trying to move but it's not working, then go and make your application. Head over to www.careerchangemakers.com/CCM program. That's www.careerchangemakers.com/CCM program. Submit your application. I will review it, and then you will be invited to go through a career change assessment that's going to help you to see where you need to be focusing your energies, and we will determine whether or not the program is a good fit for you. Okay, so go make your application. Just saying, some of the posts that I've been sharing have really been resonating with her. She's an associate at a top law firm. And here's why I think it's crazy, because if you think about the impact that lawyers actually have in terms of how the world goes round, is huge. So every commercial transaction, every property transaction, every major family dispute, like if you're thinking about divorce, if you're thinking about distribution of assets, if you're thinking about probate, different aspects of life, there is a lawyer involved or multiple lawyers involved. So when you think about the goals that people have and the things that people are trying to achieve on a day-to-day basis, typically somewhere along the line, there is going to be a lawyer involved. So when you think about that and you think about how society operates and the society that we live in a capitalistic society, what it is we're having to do on a day-to-day basis and how integral lawyers are in that process. And then you think about the fact that so many lawyers are feeling unfulfilled in the work that they're doing. There's a disconnect there, because as a lawyer, you can be sitting at your desk working on a transaction, working on a deal, drafting a contract, but you may not be seeing or feeling the true impact of what you're doing, but the impact is great. And the value that you're bringing to the marketplace is great. But why is it that we're not seeing it? And what's happening where you are doing a great work, you are making an impact, but you may not be feeling as though you're making as big of an impact as you would like. And the reality is most lawyers come into the profession saying that they want to make a difference, come into the profession saying that they want to help people. That's a big driver, or that's a big reason. So when you come in and you are making a difference and you are helping people and you are making a contribution to society, why is it then that on a personal level, there's this feeling of dissatisfaction? Why is it that on a personal level, there's this feeling of unfulfillment? And it's so common. It's so common. So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about the fact that for many people, the focus can be misaligned. The focus can be incorrect. The focus can be not where it needs to be when it comes to what you're looking at in your career. So when you're looking at things and you're saying, hold on a minute, I've invested this many years, I've been training for this many years, and then I've qualified, and now I've been practicing for the last 5 years, 7 years, but then I find myself here. I find myself doing work that I'm not excited about, doing work that, quite frankly, is boring to me. I find myself serving clients but not feeling good about the work that I'm doing, but yet I have a good salary, right? And I have the status and I have the title. So I've worked hard, I've got here, but something is not quite right. Like, I don't feel how I thought I would feel when I get to this point. That's the narrative. That's what I hear from a lot of people. It's like, I put in the work, I put in the time, but something's not quite right. So let's talk about that. When you're looking at what is going wrong, often people will say, well, maybe I need to do something else. Maybe I need to consider doing something else. Maybe I need to move to a different firm, a different role. Maybe I need to go and do something completely different. And the maybes come up time and time again. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. But then the next step is unclear. It's like, okay, well, maybe I should, but then what do I go and do? And where do I move to? And is it even possible for me to move? I don't know if I could. I don't know if I should. And all of these things come up. But I think that oftentimes the focus is on, what salary would I be able to get as an alternative to this one? Or the focus is on, well, what type of role would I be able to get if I wasn't doing this? Those are the things that we're focusing on. It's like, can I earn the same? What type of role should I be doing? Where should I be going? But there's other factors that need to be considered in order for you to make the type of move that's going to make sense, in order for you to make the type of move that's going to have you feeling differently than how you feel now in the role that you're in. And I was speaking to someone recently and they used this analogy and I thought it was brilliant. So I want to share it with you. So when you think about being in a photo or being in a picture, right? If you're in the picture, your perspective inside the picture is very different from your perspective when you're viewing the picture afterwards. So think about the last time you had a photo taken with a group of people. You stand in the photo, you stand up in front of the person with the camera and you pose, right? Smile. You might not smile. I love to smile in photos. But you smile. And then you have someone who's maybe standing next to you, a few people standing next to you, while you're looking at the camera and while you're smiling, waiting for the person to take the photo. You cannot focus on those that are around you. You can, as in you physically can, but then you're not really looking at the camera. And the whole point is to get a picture of everybody looking at the camera. So because you're focusing forward, all you can see is the person in front of you. So you don't know what's going on beside you, you don't know what's going on behind you. And so it's not until you get the person take the photo and then you get to see the photo that you see actually the whole picture. What actually happened in that snapshot of time, what was happening. And when you look at the picture, sometimes it's like, oh, look how you were posing, or oh, I didn't know I was posing like that. Look at my foot, look at my arm, look at the person in the back who just photobombed us. So it's when you see the whole picture that you're like, oh, this is what was actually happening. Although in the moment of taking the picture, you could only see the person who was holding up the camera or holding up the phone. So let's translate that. When you think about that analogy, let's think about our careers. So often we're so in it. We're so in the day-to-day. We're so in the picture that we can't see all of the different factors that are at play. So when you're in it and you're feeling frustrated and you're feeling like, oh, something's not right, you're feeling bored, you're feeling disheartened, all of the feelings, right? When you're in it, all you can see is that. It's like you're looking ahead, tomorrow I've got to do the same thing. Next day I've got to do the same thing. But are you seeing all of the other things that are at play? Probably not, because the focus is too much on where you are right now, what you can see right in front of you. And so what needs to happen is almost like a zoom out, right? Like taking yourself outside of the picture of the day-to-day of what you're doing and really looking at what else is going on. What else is going on that's contributing to you feeling the way that you feel about the work that you're doing? What else is there? And so when I'm thinking about and I'm talking about the fact that the impactful career that you really want to experience is on the other side of a 4-letter word. That 4-letter word is data. D-A-T-A. Data. And what I mean by that is, in order for you to really determine what type of move you need to make or what type of change you need to make, a full assessment of what is actually going on right now needs to happen. And that assessment might require you to zoom out and look at different pieces of data. And look, you're lawyers. You're good at this. Like, gathering data is what you do all the time. Whether you're a transactional lawyer, whether you're a litigator, whether you're a family lawyer, whatever type of lawyer you are well versed in gathering data. Looking at the evidence, looking at the information that is required, asking questions so that you're able to draft your documents, so that you're able to negotiate, so that you're able to drive deals forward. That is what you have to do. That is a skill set that you have acquired in the work that you do on a day-to-day basis. So now what I'm encouraging you to do is take that skill set and use it and apply it to your career. Because all too often, the data that we're looking at is too limited. So when you're asking yourself, well, where do I need to go next? It isn't just about, well, are the benefits good? Am I going to get the opportunity to work with good clients? Am I going to get good quality work? Like, those are only factors that you might want to consider. But what else? Well, in order for you to make sure that you're moving into a role that you feel good about, there needs to be more focus on you. Too often, the focus is external and there's not enough on the internal. And so when you're asking yourself, well, why do I feel this way? Well, it's probably because there isn't much alignment between you as a person, how you show up and what your preferences are. There's not enough alignment between that and the role that you're in. But in order for there to be alignment, there needs to be some understanding and awareness around that. And so when we're saying what data do we need to be focusing on, it's what data do you need to be focusing on as a person? So when you understand what strengths you bring to the table, when you truly understand your personality type and how you like to show up and what your preferences are, then your considerations can be different when you're looking at a next opportunity. I was interviewing one of the directors at a company called Strengths Profile the other day. So Strengths Profile is an assessment tool. I use it with all of my clients. This isn't a plug, by the way. They haven't asked me to say this, but I actually really like the tool. So Strengths Profile, it allows you to take an assessment and then it will highlight what your strengths are. It will highlight what your learned behaviors are. It will let you know what your weaknesses are, and it will give you some instructions and guidance as to how you can be using your strengths more. So we were having a conversation on the podcast. I'm excited for that episode to come out. So strengths is one data point. And then things like your values. What is actually important to you in this season of your life? Sometimes when we start out in our legal careers, it's like, yeah, I'm all about going for that promotion and the ambition is high and I've got all the energy. I want to go, 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 go. And then as you go throughout your life, there's different phases. It might be parenthood. You might move around. Things that were important to you may not be as important to you as you get to know yourself more. And so as your values shift, sometimes the assessment of whether or not your values are aligned where you are needs to happen. But are we doing that? Probably not, because we're just going. So those are a few things, but there's various other things that you can be considering from a data point of view to know whether or not where you are going makes sense. Even things like your workplace preferences. Like, if you're the type of person that likes order and likes structure and likes to have established processes in place, but then you're considering moving into an environment which maybe is a startup or a really small firm, is that going to be aligned? Or is that just you setting yourself up for guaranteed frustration? So data is the thing that is going to allow you to be able to move into the impactful career that you want to have. Because impact is not just about you knowing the value that you're bringing. Because if that was the case, all of the lawyers who are feeling frustrated right now wouldn't be. Because your role in society is huge. The work that you do all of the time is huge for the people that you're doing the work for, right? You're making a huge difference. You're getting the transactions over the line. You're getting the contracts drafted. You're helping to negotiate. You're doing all of those things. So you are making a difference. But if making a difference alone was enough, then we would all feel fulfilled. Because we would know that, okay, I've been working in this department, I've been working on this deal or this transaction, and this client has been served in this sector, in this industry, so I've made a difference. Even if it's been a small part of the puzzle, I've made a difference. But that only takes it so far, because we want to see, okay, on a day-to-day basis, I want to feel as though I'm making an impact. So the question then needs to be, like, not am I making an impact, but what does impact even mean to me? What is my measuring stick? What am I using to measure whether or not I'm making impact? And when you know what you're using to measure, then that can help you to determine, are you putting things in place so that that is possible? I know for me, when I was thinking about making a difference and like knowing that the work that I'm doing is making a difference, it needed to be more tangible and hands-on for me. So I remember when I went on my mission trip to East Africa, and we had the opportunity to go into prisons and talk to prisoners about their rights and give them legal education that they wouldn't otherwise have access to, which would mean that for many of them, they'd be able to get their freedom back. That was huge for me. And so being able to see that, being able to make an impact on a personal level versus sitting behind my desk working on contracts, I was like, oh, I get it. I understand why I feel like I should be doing more, because I want to see tangibly how my contribution is making a difference to someone's life. And that's part of the reason why I got into coaching and wanted to work with people on a more one-to-one basis or in a more intimate setting so that I could see the contribution that I was making. So impact for me wasn't just about knowing that I've made an impact. I wanted to tangibly be able to like touch it and see it. And so because I know that, I'm able to structure things differently. So for you, it's like, what is it? When you're thinking about the data, it's peeling back the layers and not staying on the surface level of, okay, I feel frustrated here, but why? What is going on beneath the surface? And what needs to happen in order for you to be able to move forward in a more intentional way. Like intentionality is so important. So yes, data. What data are you looking at? What data can you review? What data do you need to be considering when you're thinking about what this next move needs to look like? And this is why inside of our program, we spend the whole first phase of the program really digging deep and diving into self-awareness and helping you to understand yourself more on so many more levels, and we peel back so many layers so that when you're going out there and you're looking at opportunities, you know what it is you're trying to do, you know what gap you're trying to fill. And when you do this work up front, when you really take the time to dig in and understand yourself, it makes it so much easier to navigate. So instead of saying, well, what would I do? Should I do this? I'm not sure. And then going around in circles and coming back to doing nothing because you're like, I don't know what else I'm going to do. Instead of that, you're able to move forward from a more confident and intentional place. We've had people go through the program who have said, you know, when I came in, I thought I wanted to leave the law completely. And then having done this work, I realized, oh, this is why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling. And actually, there are some tweaks that I can make right where I am. Or there's just a slight change or slight shift that I need to make in order for me to move forward. But you don't know that if you're looking at the wrong things. So that is what I wanted to share with you. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe to the show so that you don't miss any future episodes. Also, I would love to know what your biggest takeaway has been from today's episode. Come over and join us in our Career Changemakers community over on LinkedIn so that you can join the conversation there. Head over to lightboxcoaching.com/community and it will take you right to the group. I look forward to seeing you.